Well, AJ, thanks so much for taking the time here. We Franco got us a lovely little office here in the spring training facility. We're a little nice and quiet in here.
Very fancy. I like it a lot.
Yeah. No, I know you're really busy down here in camp, so we definitely appreciate your time and for doing this. Want to talk about your journey here, your path to the show and all that good stuff. But I wanted to start with your off season. I was looking through your Instagram a little bit, or I follow you, so I kept up
Yeah.
with it, and it seems like you had. It looked like you had made. You're leading the league in terms of the off season you had. It looked like to me the team because you had a lot of fun. I saw Chiefs games. I saw Mavs game pre Luca trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to get into that.
Soft subject. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe pass.
Okay. Saw a picture with John Daly, Vegas. So how was your off season? What all did you get into?
It was good. I mean, absolutely. I try to stay busy. Had a few busy weeks where I went and just try to have some fun and clear my head from the baseball stuff. But I mean, the off season is just kind of a time for us to like kind of reset our mind and do some fun things that you don't get to do because it's once you're here, it's 7 months straight of baseball, 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 and not too many off days. So I enjoyed it. Went out to Vegas, played some golf. Tampa, played some golf. A lot of golf, a lot of working out, just kind of keeping it simple and light and fun. But a lot of cool experiences that I got to have this off season. I'm just thankful for them.
What was the best course you played in the off season?
I'd say the Summit Club in Las Vegas.
Is that the one where you can see the sphere?
That's
no?
the Win. That was also
Okay.
up there. Yeah, the Spear at the Win's really cool, but the Summit Club I thought was just all the facilities, all the halfway house, Wagyu burgers, like all that kind of stuff. It was just things that I enjoy, just like the little things you don't get to do every day. Live a different life for a day. So got invited out to go play there, and it was a lot of fun. But probably the nicest course, one of the nicest courses I've ever played. But it was really cool.
All right, I saw the picture with John Daly from afar. He seems like my dad got to hang out with John Daly decades ago and said he was just a great dude to hang out with. He seems like just a cool dude. What was that like meeting him?
Yeah. So we have a mutual friend, Derek Holland, who played with the Rangers forever. I worked out with him the last few off seasons. We still work out at the same gym. But him and Daly are pretty close, and they've done a few like charity events and stuff. So we were down in Tampa for the Michigan-Alabama game, and we went over to they have a karaoke bar and went and just kind of hung out and had the whole experience. But I mean, he's a great dude. He's exactly what I keep telling people. He's exactly what you expect. Like you see how he is out there on the TV, and I mean he's the same guy. Everybody comes up to him like they know him, and he's just kind of a local there, and everybody kind of respects his space and just kind of comes, says hi, he says hey, and it's just a good time.
Nice, very nice. Well, I wanted to back up a little bit. Grew up in Texas, so early life. I know you're a dual sport guy, but your childhood, like, what was your first interest in sports? Was it baseball or football first? Was it always both? What sparked that as a kid?
My parents just put me in everything, so I think I started off with playing some soccer, t-ball, baseball, literally anything I could do that was outside. I'd just go and play. But my dad always would say my favorite season was whatever season I was in right there. So if it was baseball season, I was all about baseball. If it was football season, it was all about football. And the transition was always tough because I was missing it. But it was always seasonal. But I still to this day, back then I can't even decide which one I really did like more. But right now I'm got to say baseball's taking the cake.
I would think so. I hope so. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Who were your favorite teams and athletes growing up?
So the Texas Rangers, when they went to back-to-back World Series, that was like peak of my childhood. You had Josh Hamilton in the home run derby going absolutely insane. So I was a huge Josh Hamilton fan. Michael Young, Elvis Andrews, Adrian Beltre. Like I said, Derek Holland earlier. I have a bobblehead of him.
Nice.
Growing up that I found.
They were a great team. They're fun to watch.
It was awesome. Mike Napoli, Mitch Moreland. I mean, all those guys. That's kind of what I grew up on in baseball. And then you have Dirk with the Mavericks. But if I was with any other team other than the Dallas Cowboys, Mavericks, I would probably got Rangers. I would have got disowned in my household. So
Understandable.
I was always a homer. And then now being in Atlanta, now I'm kind of get the Braves, Hawks,
That's fair.
Georgia football. I'm kind of trying to hop on that bandwagon a little bit. But yeah, those are the kind of teams that I grew up on and like really got me to love the game.
All right, I love that. There's nothing wrong with you should be a homer. Like I hate to drop names here, but if you were a Cowboys fan and I don't know, Lakers fan and a Duke basketball fan. I'm just offending all kinds of people that are Braves fans too. But I might give you a smirk. But no, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I loved those Rangers teams, even as a Braves fan. They were great to watch. So you go to high school. You're a dual sport athlete, or I assume it by the time it's high school, it's just baseball, football, or is there anything else at that point?
It was just baseball, football in high school.
And you kind of, I mean, it looked like your path, from what I've read, it could have been going more in the football direction for a while. Quarterback, Texas Tech. So just for folks who don't know your story, how did you end up ultimately deciding to play baseball?
Yeah, so for like I was a smaller kid going into high school, and then I kind of hit a growth spurt around probably my junior years, really, like when I started really developing. But I'd say I was a football player first for sure, and going into my sophomore, junior year, and then COVID kind of shut down everything. It was kind of hard to track my progress, where I was, but I had grown a lot, and I had apparently gotten a little bit better, and then we started getting out to play some tournaments. So we played one tournament out in Oklahoma, and we had a batting practice right before we left, and I was messing around on the mound, pumping it up like Kent Murphy, just joking around, and my coach was like, man, well, that's kind of coming out good. We might get you in the game if we can. And then my very first outing, we were in, I think, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and I think I was 93, 95, maybe in Norman or something, but I was 93, 95, and then that's the kind of the day that I was like, okay, I might be a baseball player now. I was kind of talking to a few smaller Division I schools for football at that time, but right when that happened, I had a bunch of big D1 schools in baseball kind of reaching out, offering me scholarships, and then I was fortunate enough to go to high school with Bollywood Jr. and have his dad being an agent, and I mean, they just know baseball through and through, so I was lucky to have that as a resource to kind of like lean on. So he comes over, decides that's going to be my agent, kind of start looking into what the draft's going to look like. But at this time, I'm just throwing a fastball, knuckleball. So it's just kind of up in the air still, just kind of going out there and having fun. And then I'd say my senior year of football kind of rolls around. I have a good football season. And so I kind of have it narrowed down to some baseball schools that I would like to go to. And so when we reach out to them, we're like, all right, how do you feel about me playing football here? Is that something that we could work out? And then that narrowed down some more schools where I could have the opportunity to do both. And so the best offer and the best situation and just the people that did the best job was Texas Tech with Tadlock, and then Sonny Cumbie was the football guy that I was talking to. He was the OC at the time. I think he was around for a year, though. So that works out well, and then I commit to Texas Tech throughout my football season, finish up. Then the draft comes along. I do a few draft workouts, kind of seeing where I stand and everything, but I really had no idea what was going to happen. I never really talked to the Braves either throughout all that, like all those processes and everything. So when the draft came around and the Braves said, hey, you want to be a Brave? I was like, all right, let's do it. And packed my bags down to Florida and kind of just bought into the pitching thing, and here we are a few years later.
Was that whole time where you're going through all this with the different schools and scouts and the whole deal? I mean, that's a lot for any 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I mean, was it more stressful, or were you able to still just enjoy playing and having fun during that time?
I mean, I thought it was just, I mean, that's kind of what you grow up looking at. You see all the guys posting their offers, like, oh, this is happening, this. Like, it's just cool. I never really thought about it too much. It was just like, man, this is kind of cool. I don't know what I'm going to do. Where do I want to go? Where's Oregon? How's Eugene look? I'm like, just looking at different places, and you're looking at different schools and seeing what fits well. It's like, do I want to go 20 minutes from home and go to TCU, or do I want to go to Eugene or Arkansas? But there's a bunch of different schools, and just kind of figuring out which is going to give me the best opportunity, who's going to give me the best looks to play just early on, and just try to get my feet wet in college sports. And but it was kind of all over the place with the scouts, and then the Zoom calls and everything was happening over COVID.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a weird process. Like, I never got to visit any schools in person, so I'm just taking Zoom calls and taking phone calls. Like, yeah, it sounds nice. Yeah. But it was. I just thought it was super cool. I mean, it's everything you dream of as a kid, and just kind of seeing like your hard work kind of start paying off, and to have offers, and I just felt super blessed, and I was just really happy. I was just having fun with my buddies on the field, and then everything was kind of taking care of itself, which it was a really good experience for me.
That's awesome. So you mentioned, you packed up, head to Florida. So what was that transition like from amateur high school athlete to now you're a pro ball player, starting in the minors in the camp? What was that like?
It was a culture shock, I guess. When you first get here, like, I don't know. I think me being so naive and not really knowing what I was getting into, I think helped me a ton because I was just bought in. I had a fastball, curveball. They told me I wasn't allowed to throw any more knuckleballs. So, but who knows? Who knows? We might
someday.
be able
There's
to
a
bring
big
it back.
Phil Necro banner hanging up here.
Yeah,
Somebody's got to bring it back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm still talking to Cranny and whispering in his ear here and there. But yeah, all that was it was a crazy process. But I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, so I just kind of bought into what the coaches. We have so many good coaches, good technology, like just so many ways to get better here. And whenever you're just deep diving, you're living on site, you're just back and forth. Like, it really gave me the opportunity to really develop faster than I think I would have been able to in college. So I think it was a really great decision, and just diving in was, I think, head first was one of the best things I've done.
So June 2023, you get the call, you're going to the big leagues. I always love hearing, anytime I get to talk to a player, like just hearing about what that moment was like and what the experience was like. So what was the call like, the call to your parents, the actual debut? What was that whole thing like?
Yeah, so actually that day I was in Gwinnett. I had 2 starts in Gwinnett, and we had just flown out. I woke up at 5 that day. We fly out to Norfolk, Virginia. And then I get a call on the way to we land early. It's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm on a Lime scooter with Alan Winans, about to go get some breakfast. And I get a call from Ben Sostanovich, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to throw in Norfolk or do you want to throw in Oakland?" I was like, good question. I think I'll do Oakland. And so then I hop on a flight right after that, don't get breakfast, hop on the flight, head over to Oakland. I land, they take me to the field. I think I get there in like the 2nd inning, change into the uniform, and then run out there. I don't end up pitching in Oakland, and then I think we have an off day. So then we go to Mastro's, have a nice dinner, go play a nice Silverleaf golf course. I'm like, man, this isn't too bad. And then eventually make my debut in Arizona and have my family there, my parents there. It was awesome. It was everything you ever dream of, and it was just a really cool week for me. But it was awesome.
I was reading, and I remember when you came up reading this about you, and I just thought it was such a cool story that your name, Smith-Shawver, you actually added your dad or your stepdad's name in high school. And I just loved hearing that. I thought it was such a cool story. Mm-hmm. So what, if you don't mind me asking, when you made that decision, I mean, what was that like for you?
I mean, yeah, so he is, I call him dad. He's been my dad since I can remember. Like, he was there day one basically. So it was a no-brainer really for me. I mean, how much he sacrificed and how much he's done for me. I mean, he was a coach in all my baseball games, football games. I mean, literally everything throughout until he couldn't do it anymore, till he couldn't coach me anymore. But I mean, he still coaches me to this day if you ask him.
Dads are like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he literally did everything, so it was a no-brainer whenever I turned 18 to change my name, just add on Shawver, and just kind of it's really cool. I love when people ask about it. It's just like any light that I can shine to him because he's done so much for me. It's awesome. Like, he's my rock. He's my number one. Like, that's my guy.
What was that like when you made your debut and getting to see them after the game for the first time? What was that like?
It's awesome. I mean, they're shaking. They're almost crying. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we were so nervous." I was like, "We're more nervous than you." It's like, it was awesome. I mean, just seeing the smile on their faces and just getting to hug them after that. It's just cool to share the moment with them.
That's awesome. So bring it up to present day here. We're here in camp at Cool Today Park. What is that feeling like for you now when you arrive at spring training? I know for us on just the front office side, this is my 11th year, and I still love it every time coming here. It's like brand new year, fresh start. What is it like for a player arriving in camp?
I think all the guys just think it's like the first day of school. You get to see all your friends again. You get to see all the coaches. Everybody has a good energy. Everybody's ready to kind of attack the year day one. So, I mean, it's just exciting. I mean, everybody loves spring. The weather's nice. Everybody's getting out of the cold weather, coming down to Florida where the beaches are. It's always an exciting time, and it's just good to see everybody, and you just love the energy that comes with it.
Yeah. So as we're sitting here, One thing I think fans always love about camp is just following the position battles and then seeing who makes, who breaks camp with the team, that sort of thing. You're obviously a guy that's very much in the mix for rotation. I mean, there's spots that are open. So I've always been curious, like you're competing against guys that are teammates and presumably in a lot of cases probably friends, and there's only so many spots. What is that like for you guys when you're competing against each other, but also being good teammates to each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody here does a great job. Like you said, we're all friends. And I think there's enough light for everybody to have their moment and have their own shine. So I think the main thing just that I try to focus on is just coming in, being the same guy every day, having good energy, and just taking it one pitch at a time. If I do my job out there throwing, things will take care of itself. So it's really not like you're not looking at people like, oh, who's going to get the spot, who's going to get the spot. Because, I mean, it takes everybody. I mean, Snit says it every time to start spring training. It takes everybody. He tells us how many pitchers they used last year before. And, I mean, it does. It takes the whole army. So, I don't know, just taking it one pitch at a time and trying to have fun doing it and just going out there and compete whenever you get to throw the ball.
Do you enjoy the entirety of spring, or is there part of you that wants to just fast forward to March, whatever opening day is, March 27th, 8th, whatever day it is?
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. It's like first day of school, you get super excited, and then you're ready to start throwing lives. And once you throw lives, you're ready to throw games. And then once you throw the spring training games, you're like, all right, where are the real games at? So you're always chasing something. But no, just trying to take it one day at a time, like I said earlier, and just if it all works itself out if you do that.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see you out there, and thank you for taking the time, AJ.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me.